Hey, I know you've probably seen some wild Cowboys headlines lately, but this one might have made you do a double take. Cowboys signed WR Treyshon Holden. Wait, who? That's exactly what most fans thought when the news dropped. No big press conference, no hype, just a quiet transaction that popped up on the NFL wire and shook up a few group chats. Now let's break this down together. Treyshon Holden isn't just some random name off the street. He's a former Alabama and Oregon wide receiver who went undrafted in 2024, bounced around a little, and just recently got signed to a deal with the Cowboys. That alone might not sound like headline material, but the way this news came out and what it might mean is what makes it so interesting. It's not every day the Cowboys hand out deals to guys flying that far under the radar, especially in a WR room that's already under a microscope. So naturally, fans started wondering, is this just a training camp body, or do the Cowboys actually see something in this kid? Here's the kicker. The deal was announced shortly after the Cowboys' mandatory minicamp wrapped up, and with OTA performances fresh in everyone's mind. It feels like Holden didn't just randomly show up. This move was calculated. Someone inside the building saw enough upside in him to bring him in at just the right moment. So now the buzz is starting to build. And I've got to ask you, do you think Treyshon Holden is a sleeper pick who could push for a roster spot? Or is this just another off-season experiment that fades away before week 1? Go ahead and drop your take in the comments. Realistically, what role could he play in this offense? WR5, special teams contributor, or maybe just camp depth? And while you're thinking about it, here's a quick poll. Do you believe Treyshon Holden will make the 53-man roster? A, yes, he's got a shot. B, no, just camp depth. C, too early to say, let's see where everyone stands. Because trust me, this story is just getting started. All right, now that we know who Treyshon Holden is and how he landed in Dallas, let's talk about why the Cowboys might be more excited about this signing than most fans realize. First off, let's look at the physical profile. This dude is built. 6'3", about 215 pounds, and he plays with that long stride physicality that really pops on tape. You don't find a lot of guys with that kind of size and smooth movement just hanging around the free agent pool. And sure, size isn't everything, but when you combine that with solid route running and some real flashes of contested catch ability, you start to understand why Holden might have caught the Cowboys' eye. What's more interesting is how he got here. Holden started at Alabama. Yeah, that Alabama. He was recruited by Nick Saban and played with guys like Jameson Williams and John Mechie. That alone speaks to the level of talent he was surrounded by. Eventually, he transferred to Oregon, where he carved out a role in a deep, fast-paced offense that showcased more of what he could do after the catch. Now, his college numbers won't blow you away. Just over 700 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns combined. But it's how he operated on the field that counts. He was reliable on third downs, he fought through contact, and he brought that ex-receiver mentality every time he lined up. It's the kind of tape that doesn't wow you at first. But the more you watch, the more you start thinking, this guy can play. And listen, when you're the Cowboys, and your WR depth behind CeeDee Lamb is shaky at best, you have to explore every option. Holden offers something that stands out: real size, legit hands, and untapped upside. So I want to throw this back to you again. If you've seen any of Holden's highlights or watched him at Oregon, what stood out most to you? His size, his hands, or maybe just the fact that he always seems to finish strong through contact? Drop your answer below, and here's another one for the poll. What's the most important trait for a Cowboys depth WR right now? A, size and physicality. B, special teams value. C, route running and separation. All right, you and I both know things are heating up from here. So now that we know Treyshon Holden has the physical traits and flashes the Cowboys like, the big question becomes, where does he fit on this roster? Let's be real. He's walking into a crowded, uncertain wide receiver room, and nothing is guaranteed. Let's take a quick look at the current pecking order. CeeDee Lamb is the unquestioned WR1, no debate there. Brandon Cooks is the veteran speedster who stretches the field. Then we get to Jalen Tolbert, who's got the inside track to the WR3 spot but hasn't fully broken out yet. And from there, it's wide open. Behind those three, you've got guys like Kavontae Turpin, who's more of a return specialist than a true wideout, and then a mix of names like Jalen Brooks, Ryan Flournoy, and now Treyshon Holden. That WR4 and WR5 spot, that's the battleground. And don't forget, the Cowboys usually keep 6 wide receivers on the 53-man roster. So what does Holden need to do to carve out a role? 2 things: win one-on-one reps in camp and shine on special teams. If he can flash in the preseason, think contested catches, sideline awareness, and physical blocking, he could absolutely leapfrog some of the guys above him. Plus, if he can prove himself as a gunner or in kick coverage, that might be the ticket to sneak onto the roster or the practice squad. Also, let's not overlook Brian Schottenheimer's influence here. His offense is looking for physical receivers who can hold blocks on the edge and make catches in traffic. That fits Holden's mold. If Schottenheimer sees him as a matchup advantage in certain sets, he'll find a way to get him snaps, even if it starts small. Let me ask you this. Do you think Holden has a real shot to make the 53-man roster? Or do you see him more as a practice squad stash this year? Drop your take in the comments, and here's a quick vote. Who do you trust more to win the WR4 job? A. Jalen Brooks. B. Ryan Flournoy. C. Treyshon Holden. D. Someone else? Up next, we shift gears, because it's not just Holden making noise at the star. All right, so now that we've placed Treyshon Holden on the depth chart battlefield, let's break down what his presence means for the Cowboys' offense, and yes, special teams too. Offensively, Holden brings a blend of speed and physicality that can open some doors. He's not just a burner. He's got that frame to win. Contested catches and make plays after the catch. In Brian Schottenheimer's system, receivers who can run crisp routes and hold their ground against press coverage are invaluable. Holden fits that bill. If he nails his route tree and timing during camp, he could become a reliable option on third downs and in red zone packages. Plus, his ability to stretch the field helps keep defenses honest. The Cowboys have had some struggles spreading the ball to multiple targets beyond Lamb and Cooks. Adding a guy like Holden gives Dak Prescott more weapons to pick apart defenses and avoid getting one-dimensional. It's about diversifying the attack and forcing defenses to respect every route. Now, don't sleep on special teams. This is often the golden ticket for rookies and bubble players. Holden's speed and tackling ability can make him a standout gunner on punt and kickoff coverage units. That's crucial because coaches love players who contribute in more than one phase. Special teams success often leads to more trust on offense. There's also the intangible side: attitude, work ethic, and coachability. Reports out of camp say Holden is grinding hard, eager to learn, and making noise in drills. That kind of mentality goes a long way, especially in a high-stakes competitive environment like Dallas. Here's where you come in. How important do you think special teams are for a rookie like Holden making this roster? Should the Cowboys focus more on his offensive snaps or special teams value? First, vote below and let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's the key for Holden to stick with the Cowboys? A. Offensive production in camp and preseason. B. Special teams contributions. C. Both equally important. D. Other. Explain in comments. Coming up next, we'll talk about what challenges Holden will face and what this means for the wider Cowboys receiving core. The talk around Peyton Turner's future with the Cowboys is heating up, and honestly, it's a bit of a mixed bag. You see, Turner came off a solid season last year, playing all 16 games and hitting career highs in tackles and sacks. For a former first-round pick, that's respectable, but the Cowboys have been busy adding talent on the defensive front. They brought in Dante Fowler and spent a high pick on Donovan Eziruwaku, which changes the depth chart dynamics. Turner's role is more of a run stopper compared to guys like Micah Parsons or Dante Fowler, who are known for pressuring the quarterback. That means he fits a different profile on the defense, which could keep him relevant. His contract situation isn't a huge financial burden for the Cowboys either. He's owed about $247 million on the salary cap for 2025, with $2 million guaranteed. That's not a lot of wiggle room, but it's also not a major hit if they decide to cut him. Ultimately, Turner might be the 5th or 6th defensive end on the depth chart, and if that's the case, the Cowboys could keep him around as a solid rotational player. Cutting him wouldn't save much cap space, so unless he really underperforms, the odds seem to favor him making the roster. But you gotta wonder, will the Cowboys keep him or cut ties? What's your take? Type M for make or C for cut in the comments below. Before we wrap this up, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're aiming for 14,000 subscribers to bring you even more in-depth Cowboys content all year long. And while you're at it, smash that like button to let us know you're enjoying the videos. Thanks for sticking with me through all the latest Cowboys rumors. Until next time, I'll catch you at the next update.